We want to go ahead and give you a fight update because we're going to talk about some changes that will be coming live with Frozen Shores on December 9th. We have some nerfs and we have a rework coming and going live with Shinobi. So, Stefan, let's go ahead and start with you. Let's talk about these nerfs. Some of these characters have been
Raider damage nerf
for some,
please.
For some of our players like Shugoki and Orochi. So,
Raider,
kind of like bring us into these changes.
Sure. Really excited to bring to live a number of changes across kind of the board. If you're worried about frustration of playing heroes, we got nerfs for Orochi. If you're in the Dominion series, top level players, we got nerfs for Raider and Shugoki. That should open up dumping out our S tier and hopefully making the A, B, C a little more interesting in terms of who picks what. We got Shinobi coming. That came from the previous testing grounds, which is really cool.
Yeah, short-tempered is very strong.
We're going to hit a few of the feats, including probably what remains as the most hated feat right now. So I can't wait for this.
So I'm very excited for the smoke bomb discussion.
I'm glad you picked that one and not the other ones. I would have been oh no.
You tell Stefan fucking hates smoke bomb too.
Slippery, but okay.
That's you know,
Dust Devil?
top three then, I guess. Orochi. So let's talk a little bit about Orochi.
What is Dust Devil?
A lot of people are complaining.
Probably the badge.
We have a pretty strong Orochi out there, although it's not the most strong in the game. I think it's behind Raider and Shugoki, if you ask me.
I agree.
But there's a number of things people are complaining about. So finally, the Nerf bat is swinging its way. Maybe I'll pass it to you guys to talk a little bit about what are we doing to it.
Yeah, all right. So the number one complaint we had with Orochi was Dust Devil, which is the infamous dodge forward kick. We added this move in the last revamp that we did on a character.
Thank God.
And it's really good. And having its miss recovery being able to be canceled by a dodge is quite strong, and it's also like the number one source of frustration from players. So we've removed the ability to cancel the recovery. It's miss recovery by a dodge. You can still cancel the recovery if you hit with it, so it's not as bad of a deal. But it's still
this is good. That means you can punish him with dodge attacks.
Orochi be a little bit less safe when you throw without that attack.
Yeah. So quickly there, it's like if you believe that
lightning strike, I think it's just a side dodge attack.
Now you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
Right. On top of that, Lightning Strike is no longer undodgeable. It can only now be delayed until 400 milliseconds in the dodge. So the idea here was that the intent for the mix-up on front dodge was kick and Storm Rush, and not necessarily Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike is more used as a peel tool, so we wanted to make sure that Lightning Strike kept its peeling, so we didn't change when you can do it in the dodge. But now it's no longer a case of, well, I have to know if I'm going to dodge the kick or Lightning Strike or Storm Rush or what am I going to try to do. So in this case, it's, well, if you think Lightning Strike or kick are coming, you can always dodge and you're always going to be okay. And the removal of the delay there a little bit ensures that you can't just do a super late.
It should make him a lot less frustrating while still being viable.
So those are the base challenges that Orochi faced, that we lowered them a little bit to make sure he's a bit more.
He's still going to be able to vortex.
Less frustrating to fight against, let's say.
You'll be able to punish him with a dodge attack if he gets it right.
Raider, what's wrong with Raider? Right now, just quickly from the perspective here, I think is we believe Raider and Shugoki are probably the two ST heroes in Dominion. We're seeing them in the Dominion series.
Fantastic!
Quite prevalently. So our kind of feeling is if we can nerf out these two as our S
these are
tier,
so good.
Maybe they'll go to A, and then
these
therefore
are so good.
there's a bit more variety at top level play. And I'm sure some of the frustrations will also go down for.
I don't even care about the top heavy shit. But the Raiders Fury,
some of the things we've done
Storming Tap, I don't even think it needed nerf. But
first we've lowered
knee attack,
he's now
oh my god, all that's so good.
40. The reason there is that we want to make sure that he doesn't have as strong a trading capability as he does before. We love the armor, we love where it is, the timings, all that sort of stuff helps Raider really shine in group fights, so that's very good. But at the same time, his HP being at 140 meant that you need to land one more heavy.
He had extra HP compared to other
work
people.
A little bit harder to be able to get him down.
That's kind of a big nerf.
Ability should be a bit less oppressive and harder to fight against him once you win. We've also had we've got a lot of complaints, rightfully so, I think, about the knee attack. So this is what happens after you do a stampede charge. And the problems with it was that it was draining too much stamina. So when you did a stampede charge on somebody, you would drain 50 stamina off of them, which is rather high for like a throw. On top of being able to just like ledge them or throw them into traps or whatever you want. So with knee no longer draining stamina or stunning, the functionality is still there. You'll still smash people into the wall. You'll still need them, but the knee won't drain stamina anymore, and it won't stun. So you still have like that. You still have the guaranteed light afterwards and stuff. All the good stuff that we had before still works. It's just less frustrating to face.
We should have called it storming knee attack.
My God, I wanted to make that same joke.
Storming knee attack. Yes.
Somebody at least like bookmark that for future references, just in case. Just
storming knee. Yeah. All right. So next up, we have Storming Tap, the soft phase version specifically. So we lowered the damage to 10. It used to deal 12, and like
probably a good change because it's enhanced.
Having an enhanced light that is soft faintable, that's unreactable, that resets your chain, dealing 12 damage was a bit too high, so we lowered it down to 10. So Raiders gonna have to work a little bit more to kill you and do effective stuff with it. It's still good. It's still unreactable. It still has all these good properties. It just deals a smidge less damage, but over time that kind of adds up, so that feels good there.
I think that'll be fine.
And there's also like other damage nerfs coming down the line. So Raiders top heavies and chains, so the second and the finisher now deal less damage. The second goes down to 30 from 32, and the finisher goes down to 33 from 36. These damage nerfs are necessary. Raider was trading super high, dealing a ton of damage. It also affects his out of stamina punishes a little bit. It's not major, but it still deals a bit less damage, but it's more, again, manageable. And last but not least, I think one of the other ones that are really complained about is Raider's Fury. That's Chain Zone. So it used to deal 38 damage, which is on a very, very, very high level. We had it at that because it's a very slow attack. It can get interrupted in group fights. But turns out that having such a huge trajectory that you can access rather easily, that dealt 38 damage was kind of high. So we've lowered it to 32. It still deals like quite.
It's still going to be good. 32 is still a lot.
But going down from 38 is quite warranted, I think.
Raider's still going to be top tier.
Shugoki, Steph.
Same deal as Raider, basically. Just too much damage. So kind of across the board, we want to bring that down to try to drop both Shugoki and Raider out of the S tier, basically at a damage level. And not at like,
oh wow,
it doesn't work anymore level.
Shugoki's damage got nerfed extremely.
Anytime that I've like seen a Shugoki,
ooh, I don't like that.
I've run the other way. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I've been a coward. I didn't want to face him, so go ahead.
He still has his headbutt adding 10 damage on top of everything.
So we've done a couple of changes.
It's not too bad.
Mostly, it's about making sure that Shugoki's damage isn't too high. And the first one here, which might not seem like, oh, that's not gonna really get lower his damage, is side dodge headbutt. Now changed to finishers at 300 milliseconds in its recovery instead of 200. So that might not seem like much, right? You're like, oh, yeah. Okay,
that means more dodge stack's going to punish it.
But that 100 milliseconds helps you... Oh, no, there's a cat again.
He brought his
that 100 milliseconds helps you counter those side dodge headbutts, right? So if you do a dodge attack, if you do it like a little bit early or at the right timing, the odds of you hitting armor from the heavy finisher are much, much, much lower. So that helps you counter it. This does not apply to front dodge headbutt, by the way. It's only from sides. Sides are defensive moves. They have iframes. They have all sorts of good stuff. So we didn't want to like nerf Shugoki's ability to open up people and to actually do damage and go into his mix-ups. But because it's a defensive move, we wanted to tone it down a little bit.
It's only on side dodge. Okay, not a big deal.
On top of that, we have Demon Ball. So Demon Ball's recovery has lowered by 100 ms, and the opponent's recovery is down by 300. Those numbers might look arbitrary, weird, what's going on here. The main reason for these is that when a Shugoki would guard break you
Demon Ball's
and
faster
do a Demon Ball, and you would go against the wall, which happens super often in ranked duel maps.
Oh,
Shugoki would get a free Demon's Embrace
this is
every single time.
Big nerf.
With these new timings, Shugoki does not anymore, so it doesn't create as much of a health swing off of a single GB.
That's a
big
nerf.
But in a lot of maps too, like you could like knock people down to a wall and then just get like a really, really large health difference.
Holy shit, that's a big nerf. I didn't even think about that.
A little bit so that it's a bit more manageable.
I wonder if Longbow's still going to be guaranteed.
Yeah, you would get a top heavy, you get a bunch of stuff. So at least with this, like you still get, like you can still get stuff, you still get a light, but you're not gonna get a heavy, you're not gonna get Demon's Embrace, so that works quite well. It balances out.
You still get a light.
Quite a bit there.
Yeah,
And
you
on
could
top of
headbutt,
that,
but a
we
light
have,
would probably do better.
Also, other damage nerfs for Shugoki. So most of his heavies got nerfed. The charge heavy openers, side and top.
I don't think
got
they
lower
needed this
damage.
many
They're both
nerfs,
going down
my
by
opinion.
4. So
I like
charge side
having
heavy
one
is
high damage
28,
hero.
charge top heavy
He doesn't have a big
30,
chain to work with either. So
and uncharged heavy finishers now deal 26, down from 31. And the charge side heavy
26
finishers is down by 6, as well as the top, so 30 and 32 respectively. Those damage, like, they're still high, right? But
26
part of the
isn't
reason
high.
why Shugoki was so strong is partly because of short-tempered, which we're going to talk about in the next slide.
Oh, that makes
so
sense.
Basically, short-tempered made sure that Shugoki would get
it's still going to be a
massive
ganking
damage
tool.
in group fights. Those charge side heavy finishers, like that dealt 36, would end up dealing like something like close to like 42, 44 or something. So it was
They're
like
going to be a good
super
ganking tool and a good wall splat tool.
Zone property attacks, you would hit like 4 people around you, go nuts. So
yeah, but Shugoki get hit a 31
like,
damage charged heavy finisher though. It's unblockable.
And even with short tempered, you still go up. With short tempered, you're actually going to get 36 now instead of not even
30. Sorry,
you would have gotten 36. You're going to get 34. But it's a little bit different. That.
I've never heard such a defensive 6 damage nerf in my life. This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta figure that I understandably some people might not be happy about this, so we have to make sure that people know and understand the logic behind our reasons.
Very good defense of the defense.
So feet balance changes, Steph.
Oh, across the board. I mean, like everyone can see the giant red beacon arrow pointing towards the bottom one there, thankfully. But just before we get to that one, I guess kind of across the board, it's just shaving a bit of damage, a little bit of the times that Orochi can bring out his stamina with a Ki, down the damage on Orochi as well with slip through, and then smoke bomb. Thankfully, not being the worst thing in the universe anymore.
Yeah. So quickly, short-tempered. The damage buff used to be 20%. Now it's 15. More manageable.
A lot of damage.
Slight nerf to Shugoki. Also affects Aramusha, but on a much lower scale. So that feat used to replace Rocksteady. So now it's short-tempered, and short-tempered it won't be as strong as it used to be. Slip through has changed also quite a bit. It used to give Orochi a lot of damage, especially on like Riptide. So what we've done with slip through is that the damage buff that you gain when you dodge only applies to the attack that you deal out of a dodge, and the effect is removed as soon as damage is dealt. As soon as actually a hit line, like after the first attack actually like hits, misses, or is blocked or whatever, but the damage buff gets removed immediately, so you can't go like Riptide into a combo light and get that extra damage on top of that. We've also nerfed the damage buff it gives. It used to be 40%, now it's 30. Again, like Shugoki, Orochi with this was way above the curve in terms of damage, so we've lowered that a little bit. And it can also now trigger every 3 seconds instead of.
You'll be blind, but you can always lock onto your opponent.
You might not get it on every single dodge if you keep dodging all the time trying to use this. And with these changes, Ben, I don't know if you want to tell us, there's been some interaction with Nusha that this ends up doing, right?
Yeah. Caltrops used to interact with this feat very favorably, let's say, where as long as he was just kind of dodging left and right, the feat would activate just by dodging. But now that it no longer does, the Caltrops are no longer buffed while the Nusha is dodging. So the
I didn't know that was a thing.
Commit to a dodge attack for the Caltrops to be buffed for a very small time. So it should make the Caltrops a lot less annoying, but still they're ridiculously good feat. So don't worry about that one too much.
Yeah, so Caltrops is still really good, right? It's just a matter of like it won't get massively buffed.
Yeah, these are the guys that
you're not gonna melt
aren't
down as fast as you used to.
You know, clueless about the game.
Okay, so next up is Ki. So we've increased the cooldown for Ki by 15 seconds from 90 to 105. Again, like Steph was saying, it's mainly a feature of Orochi being able to Ki you every single fight, putting you out of stamina, and then putting such an insane amount of pressure on you that it was like really, really hard to get out of. So by nerfing the cooldown a little bit, it should be a bit more manageable. You're not gonna get Ki'd all the time, and it should be should work a little bit better.
And Storm Bomb, you wish.
Here it is,
right? Smoke bomb.
The pièce de résistance.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Smoke bomb is probably the most hated feat in the entire game. It's been banned by the competitive players for I don't know how long now. It used to do all sorts of crazy things, like it would like prevent lock, prevent capturing points. It gave people stealth. It made you unable to parry external attacks, like all sorts of things. We found some cute little nuggets in there while we were going through it as well. Like it would block line of sight, like do all sorts of crazy things. So we've got rid of all of that because it was much too complicated, and it also like created like really unfavorable gameplay scenarios. So instead, now what happens is you throw a smoke bomb, and all of your opponents within its blast are stunned for 5 seconds. 5 second stun is still quite a long stun. You can use smoke bomb a bit more efficiently while you're in a group fight. You can go run up to people, throw a smoke bomb, and then they're going to be stunned, and then you don't see indicators for 5 seconds. You can still throw unblockables, all sorts of stuff. They're still probably going to land, but they're going to be able to be dealt with and parried and all that sort of stuff.
So what's the difference between this and
you can still throw a smoke bomb, stun people around you, and then just run away. And they're not going to see your indicators. It's a bit scarier. So it still works, not as efficiently as it did before, but you can still do stuff with it. But you can no longer just go, hey, look, I'm on his own. Smoke bomb. Oops, you can't.
What's the difference between this and Ki, though, at this point?
That was a big thing there.
I don't know the difference. Ki already works on multiple enemies and stuns them for like 5
Whatever
seconds.
the functionality.
And puts them out of stand. Actually, no, it only puts them out of stand.
So now we have Shinobi, right?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do Shinobi. Basically, we had some testing grounds for this hero. We made a bunch of edits based on the 2 testing grounds that were there. Finally, we're ready to go live with
I'm scared what the
a set of those changes before and a few more edits. So this will be exciting. One more hero from the both the dumpster and the strange, frustrating universe to hopefully viable at this point.
Dumpster and frustrating.
Yeah.
Sounds like Yorum as well.
Recap. So the feedback we got from the testing grounds was much more positive.
True. Yeah, it does affect allies.
We still had to do some changes to make the character more viable and make it more workable. So let's go through them round. So first up, we're gonna have front roll, right? So front roll, really cool move. It was good, but it wasn't as good as it should be. So what we've done is we've made it have a very high amount of iframes, so it's 600 milliseconds.
Oh.
As a note, basically you can cancel out of your
double dodge things.
like
interesting.
Flip kick or cycle arena or whatever at 600. So you're essentially full iframe until you actually do those attacks. That's quite good. It is now 900 milliseconds, down from 1,000, so it executes a bit faster.
Good.
And on top of that, as a little bonus, we wanted it to we want people to feel as if it was a dodge. So it also changed to double dodge. So you can now do front roll, double dodge, like smoke dodge for some people. If that's when you.
That's so trippy. How's that gonna go?
You can front roll dodge, and really reposition yourself in group fights and do.
Oh, that can make him bash spam.
Super interesting. Works much better than before.
That's gonna win a bash spam.
Also has like more utility.
Because he'll kick, hit the thing, roll forward, and then he can dodge again and kick.
Backflip has.
We gotta see how that goes.
Is similar to front roll, right? So the idea is that we want to have front roll and backflip to be very, very, very similar in feeling. Feel like they're dodges. Feel like you can avoid attacks with them.
Backflip chains to
also
flip
chain
kick
to the same attacks as one other. So backflip now also has 600 milliseconds of iframes. Super good. You can avoid attacks, all sorts of stuff with it.
These are some weird
900
changes.
up from 600 milliseconds. So, but you can still chain out of it at 600. So you can go to sickle rain into kickflip now also. So you can do backflip into kickflip or backflip into sickle rain.
I mean, it's gonna look cool, but I don't know how this is gonna be.
Because that ended up being more frustrating for players than anything. You couldn't really it was hard to reinitiate with a Shinobi after you did a backflip, and so we wanted to make sure that Shinobi could actually backflip into an attack that was working. I know
this is going to be so weird.
It's one of the big feedbacks.
I'm excited.
People wanted to
I'm
have
excited.
range heavy back.
Shinobi already has like some of the best parry punishes in the game.
We decided to remove it because
well, it was a decent bash.
The biggest issue is if you can't target swap it, it's pretty much useless. And we don't want it to be target swappable because then we go back to the issue we had in the first testing grounds, which is you can get an off-screen, unblockable, bump, unreactable attack, which feels extremely bad. So instead, we've focused on having Shinobi having these tools where he's slippery, gets in and out, does all those cool things, but is still not super frustrating as he used to be.
This
is going to be fun to use.
Specificities of like just how problematic such a move is like if it's not controlled by a cooldown like a feat is, like projectiles are in that sense, or you don't have a certain risk to doing it, like Shaman will move quite heavily forward and be punishable because she's now within your range when she misses. Then it becomes very hard because like Shinobi's still super far away. How can you punish a thing that you've dodged or missed? And if you're dealing with group fights where Shinobis are 8 meters away and slapping you for free constantly, like it's a bit difficult.
Yeah, and on top of that, we've actually done tests where like we reduce the range of the range attacks, and it just feels really bad because the range just feels super arbitrary, and you just miss. You're like, why did I miss? Oh, I wasn't 1 pixel in the right direction. Or
it's going to be dangerous to try to chase him on his backflip now.
Consistent as well.
Yeah, if it came with a cooldown, or if it came with like your body moves within range of the tools of the opponent,
that would be different.
He's going to be nasty. He's going to be a nasty hero
exactly
for at least a little while until.
Right, next up,
I'm hoping there's nothing too crazy.
Kick, right, so again, in keeping with the theme of having Shinobi being really slippery.
That's good, actually. That's good.
In group fights, but really offensively, you can now target swap flip kick. So you can do front roll, target swap, flip kick. Backflip target.
Just now imagining anti-ganks. So, you flip kick heavy somebody, backflip to dodge the other person's attack.
But as Stefan
fucking
said,
hit him again with the flip kick.
With your flip
keep
kick,
backflip. Just keep doing it over and over.
It's a lot more manageable.
Just hope you don't get GB'd.
And to make sure that it actually reaches people, you can now move forward slightly more when you're using it. So again, it feels much better. So that's pretty good for that attack. So next up, front dodge. So, oh my god, I see a new option.
Oh, it's back at 300, really?
So front dodge kick is back at 300 milliseconds. And front dodge, we had tried it at 200. For Shinobi specifically, the experiment did not work.
Front dodge heavy.
Because he didn't have another attack. So as soon as you would say Shinobi like front dodge, you would just side dodge. And you would avoid everything, right? So it wasn't necessarily good enough.
This will get rid of the rolling issue.
So we put it back at 300. But on top of that, we added a new attack, which is a front dodge heavy. It's 700 milliseconds.
It's feintable, too.
You can do it from run to 500 milliseconds in the front dodge. And it initiates chain. So Max, show us the video. So there we go.
That looks so weird.
Looks really cool, really different from what Shinobi typically has.
He's trying to give you a hug.
You can chase down people with it.
Is that a top attack?
Open up people with it. Do a lot of stuff. You can try to do some peeling. Super amazing. Doesn't feel a ton of revenge like the kicks do. So it's really, really interesting move.
It does look goofy, dude.
I think that it will really open.
I think it'll be useful though
for Shinobi. Okay, so we're reaching the end now, but let's keep going. So zone attack, right? So zone attack was one of those things that we didn't really do much of in the previous testing round.
Oh, his zone is going to be so strong.
And Shinobi's zone attack actually still felt quite lackluster. Like it's quite good in the lane. Like it's actually one of the better lane clears. But at the same time, you wouldn't really use it in group fights or whatever because it was kind of bad. So what we've done is first we've reduced the stamina cost.
He is going to be top tier.
17, like it's 3 hits, so it was 17, 17, 21. It's now 15, 15, 10. So that's quite a large reduction.
Because it changed the sickle rain
and
the kick.
So we want you to be able to use it and do more stuff with it. You can now backflip at the same timing as a feint. So if you do like zone attack and then press dodge, and you do it quickly enough, you're going to do the first hit and then backflip, which is pretty interesting. And you can also chain to sickle rain. So you can do zone attack into sickle rain. So you can actually go into a 1v1 situation, for example.
Dude, they are
throw out a zone attack. Go into your sickle rain, do all sorts of mix-ups at top that's still unblockable.
Nobody's just going to be all orange.
Works quite well. So that's it for zone attack, but at
least you could punish the flip.
And then last but not least on
HP
Shinobi, there's a couple of other changes. Most importantly is HP. We're back to 120. He used to be at 110. It was sort of warranted due to like all the ranged attacks and all sort of stuff. We wanted him to be more of a glass cannon. But now with Shinobi having a lot less of those options, it doesn't make any sense for him to be at 110. So at 120 works much better.
That's a good change.
Less squishy. That's pretty interesting. And we've also adjusted the tracking, trajectories, and forward movement of most of his light and heavy attacks. It should make him a lot more consistent, right? Because a lot of the time you would throw out an attack with Shinobi, he would barely move forward. You would miss. You'd be like, why did this miss when it hits with pretty much everybody else? So with these changes, it should really, really help with the consistency of these things And
those are good changes though, because they were always weird.
So yeah, Steph, Ben, what are your thoughts on Shinobi?
He's great. Like I really love playing him now. And
his parry punishes alone is what's attracted me, because they're good.
Honestly,
like the default hit's fine, but the stuff after the little kick, which most people don't dodge,
we did a super good job.
or sickle range straight into, is just disgusting.
Without having the long range sickle stuff, so props to that. Yeah,
it's cool. It's super hype. I mean, Shinobi, she got good buffs. Orochi, she got good nerfs. Raider, she got good nerfs. Shugoki, he got good nerfs. And the feats, which are mostly Orochi, good nerfs or semi
good nerfs.
Giant nerfs, let's say.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
like,
super good.